We are back. It's your boy, We Game All Night, aka Dana Black. And before we get into the video, I just wanted to let you guys know I will be making a whole lot more long form MMA content and boxing content. And we're gonna skip the intro, we're gonna get right into the info. And I want to just give you guys my prediction of the UFC White House card. Now, what we know about the UFC White House card so far is that it is supposed to be a spectacle. It is supposed to be the greatest show the UFC, not only the UFC, it is supposed to be the greatest show put on in combat sports history.
This event is going to be so badass and so unique and so special and so expensive.
And it will feature tons of the top athletes in the UFC on Donald Trump's birthday, right on the front lawn of the White House. This has never been done, and it may never be done again. Only in the UFC, boys. Only in the UFC. Alright, so first off, to start the night off, I feel like we will get the return of none other than Mr. Red Panty Knight himself, Mr. Champ, the first ever UFC multi-division champion.
Presenting the former UFC featherweight champion and the former UFC lightweight champion, the one, the only, the notorious Conor McGregor!
Yeah, Conor McGregor will make his return to the UFC White House. Now, the tricky part is going to be finding McGregor a suitable opponent, because we do not want it to look like we're giving McGregor a cherry pick, but at the same time, McGregor is such a huge star. He has to be in a big fight, and he has to be tested. So I'm thinking of 3 different options, and the third option is possibly gonna be the guy that fits the bill to go ahead and fight McGregor. But the first option, who everyone would want to see McGregor in the ring with, who would be the biggest fight for McGregor, and it would be a rematch with Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Location.
But we all know that's not gonna happen, and Khabib is probably a heavyweight by now.
Tell me.
The second option for McGregor to fight would be none other than Nate Diaz, Mr. Stockton himself. This is another tricky one, because Nate Diaz is not even signed with the UFC, although he has expressed interest in making his highly anticipated return to the UFC. Will it be in the White House? Only time could tell. And number 3, I know a lot of people have written this fight off. Even Dana White himself said he no longer expresses interest in this fight. But me personally, I think it is the perfect fight for McGregor at the White House, and that will be with the man who has called him out year after year. I think he even called him out after a loss, and that would be Michael Chandler.
I got one dude on my mind. Conor McGregor, you gotta come back and fight somebody. I am the most entertaining lightweight on the planet. But I want to up the stakes, Conor. I want you at your biggest, I want you at your baddest, and I want you at your At 170, this summer, this fall, this winter, holler at your boy. God bless. I'll see you at the top.
Now, I also think Michael Chandler would actually be a perfect fight for McGregor, because if McGregor ends up losing this fight at the White House, we may never see Conor McGregor in the octagon again. Now, Michael Chandler's no slouch, but he has been on a generational skid in the UFC. And if Conor McGregor can't get a win off of him in 2026, then he just shouldn't be in that octagon anymore with the top competition. He might as well go ahead and fight Jake Paul. He might as well go ahead and do some celebrity one-offs and, fade into the abyss. But I do not think that's Conor. I do not think that's Conor. All right. Our second fight will be a championship bout. One fighter has revived his career and is on a 4-fight win streak and is currently the number 6 pound for pound fighter in the world. The other fighter, the challenger, is a former world champion and is one of the biggest stars in the sport. Not to mention, this is a rematch, and their first fight in 2022 was one of the top contenders for fight of the year. If you know MMA, you know who I'm talking about, and that's none other than Sean O'Malley versus Peter Yan. Oh, we gonna be in for a treat tonight. UFC White House is stacked, and we're only at the second fight of the night. Let's move on to the third, fellas. Fight number 3. Now, these fighters, none of these fighters really need any introductions, but this fight here is going to sell itself. You put these guys' name on the paper and the fight will sell 100%. Now, I am expecting a specific title to be vacated, and it's going to leave a division wide open for 2 killers to step into the ring and square off to be a world champion in the UFC. Now, one fighter is on an amazing 9-fight win streak, and he also is coming into the ring with a 70% KO ratio. This guy's a rising star, but he started a bit later in his career, and he's getting up there in age, so the time might be right now to strike while he is in the midst of his prime. The second fighter he's going against, and he will be going against none other than a fighter coming into the octagon with a 97% KO ratio. Yes, 97% of his wins come by knockout, ladies and gentlemen. You might already know who I'm talking about. He's also been a part of one of the coldest stare downs in UFC history. He's also a former champion, and he's looking to take back his gold. I'm talking about none other than it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. fight number 4. Now, I can almost guarantee 1,000,000% that this fight is going to be on the UFC White House card. Y'all might know who I'm already talking about. Y'all might know. We just seen this guy headline a show not too long ago. Y'all might know who I'm talking about. Come on, drop those comments. Let me know if y'all know who I'm talking about. But this guy, he holds the record in the UFC for most performance bonuses in the history of the UFC, coming in at 15. So 15 of this guy's fights, he received a bonus for overperforming. We know the type of fight we finna get. We know the type of fight we finna get. He is also the current interim champion in the UFC. Oh yeah, we in for a barn burner. Oh yeah, we in for a barn burner in the most stacked division the UFC has to offer. But he will be going up against whom some consider to be the face of the division. Now, he did actually take some time off. He's been away from the ring for a little while to attend to some personal matters. But by the looks of everything, this guy is back and he's locked in. Now, before he took his little break, this guy had became a multi-division champion in the UFC, coming in at 17 wins and 0 losses. 15 of those wins have came by finish, 8 by knockout, 7 by submission. He's only been to the decision, to the judges, just twice in his career. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know who I am talking about. And this guy has his eye on another champion in a whole nother division. Ah, man. We in for a treat that night, y'all. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Tell him, Bruce.
Justin, the highlight Gaethje! Ilya, the Matador,
All right. Our next fight. Now, at this point, well, I would say the roof would have exploded off of the White House, but yeah, they will be fighting on the lawn, so there won't be any roof exploding off of any building, but they might make the ground shake. All right, so our next fight is between 2 of the UFC's top stars. Both of these stars are in the midst of their prime and are looking to make a legacy for themselves. This isn't just a fight for them. This is legacy for both of these fighters. Now, our first fighter is coming in at 19 wins, 0 losses, 14 finishes, and he is looking to become the UFC's next big star. But he's going up against the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world, coming in at 28-1. People also compare him to a specific somebody who might be considered the greatest MMA fighter of all time. Y'all already know who I'm talking about. Tell him, Bruce.
Chandler.
And the next fight. All right, now this is another one that could get really tricky because one of these fighters is yet to be signed to the UFC, but I am predicting the UFC to make some huge moves for this historic card. So first up, it's gonna be in the heavyweight division. You guys might already know who I'm talking about. Drop a comment down below if you do. Drop a comment down below if you do. But it's gonna be in the heavyweight division. Now, let me give you guys a little backstory. So the UFC's heavyweight division, it is the most prestigious division, not as it would be in any combat sport, but the pool for the UFC heavyweights historically has been pretty shallow. Now, I'm not gonna say they're the weakest fighters or the worst fighters in that division, but the amount of high level athletes that they have in that division, let me just put it that way, it's less than the other divisions. So the guys at the top, whoa, they're goated. It may even be Hall of Fame, you know, may even be greatest of all time candidates, but I cannot say that for, you know, 25 different heavyweights. With that being said, Cyril Gane is the first guy in this matchup that we'll bring to the forefront. Now, his last fight ended in a really controversial decision with Tom Aspinall. He was actually getting the better of Tom Aspinall, if you want to be honest, you know. Tom Aspinall was bloodied up even before the eye poke. Cyril Gane was dancing around, stepping around. He was looking really good, really fast, really light on his feet. And Tom Aspinall has recently went into double eye surgery, so they say. I'm going to be dropping a video about that Tom Aspinall eye surgery as well. But Tom Aspinall went into his eye surgery, and we do not know the time frame of his recovery. So Cyril Gane has to get back in the ring and be active. So I would say that they put an interim title up there and let Cyril Gane defend the interim belt. And, you know, the winner of this matchup could go and get Tom next. Now, his matchup. Ah, man. All right, I tell you this. There has not been a prospect, and I'm not even talking about MMA. There has not been a prospect in all of sports bigger than this guy since LeBron James. Let's just put it that way. This guy has won gold at the Olympics. This guy is a two-time Division I national champion. This guy has had a stint in the WWE and the NFL. And this guy has already accumulated a 4-0 record in MMA. Now, if the UFC went and signed this guy, he could very well revive the whole heavyweight division as well as American heavyweights. Whether it be in boxing, whether it be in UFC, America needs a heavyweight to save the day. And that heavyweight should be none other than Gable Steveson. Now, if the UFC signs Gable, Dana White, man, get on the phone, call Gable, call John Jones, get something done, man. You guys need Gable in the UFC. I'm not the type to tell anybody what to do, but Dana, Uncle Dana, get Gable in there, man. Send him the contract. Stop playing. And here we go for the main event of the evening. Now, neither of these fighters need an introduction at all, but for the sake of the video, let's do a brief one, all right? Now, fighter number one. Fighter number one is on a legendary generational run. He's only been in the UFC for 4 years, but he's managed to knock out 11 of 13 of his wins. He's managed to win a belt in not one, but 2 divisions. Tonight, he's looking to win a belt in his 3rd, or at least set himself up to win a belt in his 3rd. He also is the owner of the best left hook in all of combat sports. Not MMA, not boxing, not kickboxing. All combat sports. This man has the most dangerous left hook I have ever seen. And he is also he is going up against Mr. Creme de la Creme himself. Most people, not just me, he is highly regarded as MMA royalty, as the GOAT, as Mr. Him himself. The greatest fighter to ever do it, to ever lace up a pair of them gloves, to ever step foot into that octagon. This guy is the youngest UFC champion of all time, and he has still yet to lose. He won the belt at age 25, and now he's at the pinnacle of his career, and he has yet to take a loss. Do you understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? He has destroyed era after era after era of UFC fighters. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about. This is our main event. Alex Pereira Chama versus Johnny Bones Jones. I can't wait. I can't wait. Now, thank you for anybody who stuck around long enough to watch my full video. If you like the video, please go ahead, drop a comment, drop a like, hit the subscription icon, hit the notification bell, and turn on notifications so you can see every time I post. I post daily, I go live daily, and I'm just trying to provide you guys with some grade A content, you know. But let me know, how do you guys think my predictions are for the UFC White House card? If you want to, you guys should also go ahead and drop your predictions down low. I'll read, I'll comment, I'll respond to each one of them. I want to see who do you guys think the UFC is going to put on the White House. It's your boy, We Game All Night, and I'm out.